Salaki, I'm not quite sure why my phone just cut off. My phone just cut off. So let me go ahead and get these last few scriptures. Amos chapter 5. And verse 10 it reads, so yeah, they, if you say something that's against, the philosophy or the direction that they going in, you make of your, the scriptures talk about when you departed from evil, you make of yourself a prey. So if you exposing this place, look at Edward Snowden. Like if you exposing this place, you make yourself a prey. Yeah. If you not aligning up with what the direction this place going in, you making yourself a prey. This is the book of Amos chapter 5 verse 10. They hate him that rebuketh at the gate. How you hate honest judges, and they abhor or they despise him that speaketh uprightly. For as much therefore as your trending is upon the poor, which is Israel. I was listening to a particular brother. He was going into how, this system is already set up, everybody taking a beat, but it's especially difficult for Jake. When you take time to really consider it is, you know what I mean? Right now, we are being racially profiled. Right now, you had an Edomite bitch literally show you the pride of this place, and that's why the Lord gonna really fuck it up. You know what I mean? You got this bitch, she was so... I was gonna do a lesson on it, the brother did a lesson. I might still do a lesson, but he was like, he never seen, I believe it was titled, I never seen Esau this proud in her hate, or, you know what I mean? That bitch sit up there and said, I am racist. But then they'll come and subject us to, why are you like that? Why do you hate? When, like I made this statement, to be racist is just you for your race. I'm not offended by that. I'm fucking racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, America is racist. What are you talking about? This place is built off of racism. Don't you know one people brought another people here in slavery? You can sit up there and try to convince yourself, oh, I'm not really racist. That's what that one Edomite was saying. Because he's been in prison. And he always try to make it, maybe in his mind he is warped like that. But I bet you if a full race war broke out tomorrow, he gonna be with Esau. Show me that you ain't racist by coming to fight with Jake. I bet you that shit ain't gonna happen. Verse 11, for as much therefore as your trending is upon the poor, and ye take from him birds of wheat, ye have built houses of hewn stone, but ye shall not dwell in them. Ye have planted pleasant vineyards, but ye shall not drink wine of them. For I know your manifold transgressions, which is this going into Esau. They try to build up this system. What's that? Job chapter 5. The Lord going to disappoint of his enterprise. You try to build this system, which the Lord is going to allow to, come to fruition to a degree, because this is ultimately, prophecy. This is the great testing. For I know your manifold transgressions and your mighty sins. They afflict the just, they take a bribe, and they turn aside the poor and the gate from their right. Therefore, the prudent shall keep silence in that time, for it is an evil time. Seek good and not evil, that ye may live, and so the Lord Yahweh Shai, the power of hosts, shall be with you as ye have spoken. And ultimately, the scriptures talk about multiple scriptures. Brother just brought that one out, but I know it's one in Habakkuk, just shall live by his faith. Who are the just, the hopeful elect. That's the ones that's gonna stand uprightly. Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 7, and it reads, I'm going to read it and it'll tell you, the smooth tricks of the scoundrels are evil. They plot crooked schemes, they lie to convict the poor, even when the cause of the poor is just, which goes into Israel. Once again, when we got this AI with the deception, which is the spirit, because the elder was looking at it twofold. He's like, yeah, it's some bullshit, but at the same time, he's like, it's really, spiritual and righteous at the same time. But, of course they're going to use these images because they know people don't really investigate or search out a matter. People going to take a lot of stuff face value. You got people that sit up there and look at the delivery but don't listen to the message. When we at a time where if I was in danger, I wouldn't care about you literally, I remember one brother was in the spirit to the point one time because I was reading a little too fast. The spirit jumped on him to correct me. And it was kind of like a harsh rebuke, you know what I mean? I'm not a child, but at the same time, I did recognize it was the spirit. With these words, you want them to sink in and you take your time with it, You really eat this like the elder said. This ain't a sprint. This is a marathon. And you should know the pace that you can run at. Now, some brothers can consume a lot. Some brothers got, are more long-winded. Some brothers need, another brother to uplift their spirit. A lot more, you know what I mean? But ultimately, it's going to be your relationship with Yahweh Shem Yahushua that's going to see you through this. Because, again, the scriptures talk about seek out ye your salvation with fear and trembling. Another brother can't save you. You got brothers that have made these deep relationships with brothers, which I'm not saying, the Lord got a way of doing some things. The Lord put fellow believers in the truth in the same cap with other brothers. Or you got brothers that's in different states, but they both believe it. That's special. I imagine, because, that's something that the Lord was really being generous when he did that. If a brother is so in love and just care for another brother that ain't, got a true, blood bond with him, but just, spiritually that brother's brother or the brother's keeper, you know what I mean? That's deep. So how much more so if that's a blood brother born in the same, of the same bloodline? But even that is not going to save you. You get what I'm saying? Because the Lord, this is a movie truly indeed. When certain things I think back and look on and you're like, what? I didn't know that was happening. And the thing is, I'm, convicted of the Lord. So when you see certain stuff, you're supposed to say such stuff. What? You want me to be a fucking hypocrite and act like I didn't see it? What the world, the earth, it's a lot of things that go in the world that are dirty, we sit up here exposing Esau, Edom, and, the wickedness of the world and all these things, but we ain't gonna expose the wickedness of our own hearts and minds, and, come on, man. Nah, fucking fake that. I mean, this is not to turn this into nothing else. It's just like, I don't know. Again, everything, this a movie indeed. That's my point of bringing it all up. This is really truly a movie. And when I think about some of the things the elders say and whatnot, you like, just imagine what all they say. They speak on, I'm not even going to say harp. They speak on what happened at One West. We all, probably curious about how that was because just imagine, that was when it was a lot newer, a lot younger. I heard the elders make this statement. They said, brothers, it was a particular brother that used to always pray for money to come through, the school. And when it did, he watched how the school was destroyed by it. So sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for. So, yeah, I mean, these different devices, again, they use a lot of stuff to pretty much supplant and to destroy us, And, again, when you take time to think about this system, a brother made a statement that I make, you know what I mean? Just like, it was probably the Lord had a spirit on me to say certain things, I'm not even gonna say it's me, I'm saying the Lord had a spirit on me. But yeah, as a man, certain things, the elder brother was like, they try to turn you or transform you into a child, a real slave again. He said that certain things, he'd rather be back in the spirit world. Think about that. They want to control you, how you pop, like that movie Demolition Man. They didn't have real sex. They had virtual sex. He should have knew something was up because she was just too easy. Like, I like you. Want to have sex? And this nigga say, what is this shit? So yeah, but these motherfuckers gonna be sitting up there still doing all the drugs, still doing all the orgies. You know what I mean? Like just... you know what this reminds you of? It's an old movie called Metropolis. And and it's a robot in it. And you had the elites that lived in the skyscrapers, and you had the worker ants that was pretty much the serfs. Techno fugilism. Shit deep. I'm gonna end this with did I get that already? Yeah, I think I did. I'm gonna get Proverbs chapter 29 though. Call lawyer Blayah, but should be outside. Did I do that already? I didn't even know I did. Call lawyer Blayah, but should be outside. Call lawyer Blayah, how about should be outside by Shib Hagodash. That's 144. Proverbs 29 in verse 2 that reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, and when the wicked bear of rule, the people war. Skipping to verse 16. When the wicked are multiplied, transgressions increasing. And, these wicked are solidifying their power. So, a lot of wicked decrees, a lot of wickedness is going on in the planet. A lot is going on if you can keep up spiritually. It says, but the righteous shall see their fall. And, what is that? The book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus? I forget exactly where it's at. I think it's like 25. It says, pretty much about how it said, 6 things, and 7 do I butchered it, but it say a man that get to see, pretty much to raise his children and or the fall of his enemy. And a lot of brothers have had to sacrifice, relationships with women or loved ones or their children. I heard a brother make the statement about how he sacrificed his children, when they was younger, but the Lord was so merciful that he allowed when they got older to come back into his life. And that's a beautiful thing, I did the kind of opposite, but I think it was always set up through the Spirit for me to get my children. And I think about it now, if I would have been more passive with it, where would they be at today? Because, I'm talking about, it's so cold how the Lord about to do these women for real. A lot of these ain't women. A lot of these, like the elder just did the video, and that's why I never had no problem calling them whores, because at the end they are whores. In these scriptures, what's that, Amos 7? Talks about our women should be a harlot in the streets. The most righteous woman you think on this side is a whore. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't probably have her or take her virginity. On top of it, that's comical to show you how goofy a bitch is about real estate. Bitch, ain't nobody buying no homes. I was going to try to buy a home just because I was under the illusion it would be cheaper to try to rent. I mean, to pay a mortgage than to literally try to rent. But the housing market is so fucked up. Unless you got like one of those jobs that's secure, which ain't no job secure right now. I got a friend that worked for a major corporation and they do work from home. But you don't think AI could do her job? And I tell her that all the time. So and the Lord got a way of doing certain shit. Like she in a situation where she can lightweight benefit from the system, but at the same time, it'll be ugly. You got people that's worked at these jobs, especially women, for, 10 years or better. So they got money invested in their 401ks, which is funny because that's your money. But then if you try to use that money, like people have had to use their 401k just because of how bad the economy is, but you get penalized for doing it. This is just a really corrupt, fucked up mess. Oh my God. What the elder brother said, he said, Lord, I ain't gonna never do it no more. That's why it's so beautiful that this is the last time we got to endure this shit with this devil and rulership. I was listening to the elder brother. He was like, he said, show you how wicked this nigga is. He said he brought back he reincarnated and brought back the same wicked ass system that the Lord destroyed the first time. Your spirit bring back the same wicked ass system revised. I ain't gonna do it exactly like that. I'm gonna do it technocracy. Like, this motherfucker is wicked, man. I think that was it, though. Oh, I'm going to end it in Matthew. Because, again, scriptures say we go through great tribulation. This is the book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 21. For this shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And I believe you go through that word tribulation, is that word that start with a T, the lipus.
Strong's G 2347. Thlipsis.
And it says oppressing, pressing together, pressure, oppression. We should know the definition of oppression. affliction, tribulation, distress, straits. STR, what's that? Matthew chapter 7, the straight gate, STRAIT, a path of difficulty. So this devil is about to make it so difficult to be able to maneuver through society. You know, it's so spiritual because, again, recently, while all this persecution coming, I've been getting persecuted by the law. You know, I can say the first time it was, you know, that was just the will of the Lord. Maybe I'm doing something, you know, over. You know, I remember a brother speaking up and saying something. He said sometimes, you know, everything that happens don't necessarily have to be wicked or evil. You know, be like when you're doing something or overdoing something, the Lord will intervene. You know, he might have a brother speak up. The Spirit, the Holy Spirit might, you know, I've heard in the world a female say, oh, you know, with the Holy Spirit, it sounds like it made voice, but it's not a thought of theirs. Which, you know, I've heard many brothers say, you know, the Lord told them this and the Lord told them that. So, you know, this perspective, you know, I recognize when some thoughts ain't my thoughts. Or the Lord might intervene he might chastise you in order to get you to correct yourself. You know, good chastisement is, you know, it says when the Lord chastises you, he's dealing with you as a son. So, you know, when he's afflicting you, you know, affliction has time or helps with self-reflection and correction, you know, before you get judged with the world. So, you know, again, that word pressing though, you know, this man is about to put that pressure, you know, you know, they be like that. I got that pressure and how you over here fucked up, you know, say it to when they put that pressure on the female, talk about, you know, it might be, you know, right now, to show you how fucked up society is. I knew Jake when I was working with these particular young niggas. They done legalize the shit, so you go to the store and buy this shit, but then they go into the store, buy it, and sell it to you know, which, you know, you go always have that because, you know, dispensaries ain't open 24/7, and, you know, and I'm just looking at Jake like this shit, you know, is so crazy to me because a nigga hustling and got to work at the same time because you got to have some kind of, yeah, it means for extra income, you know, with all this shit going on. I mean, things are expensive. The world, this man really has the world more than, you know. Isaiah chapter 24 for real, indeed. But, Salaki, I'm a little bit all over the place. Ultimately, you know, that tribulation is that pressing because, you know, he got the world in a state of misery. It says, for this shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So, you know, just like the church was persecuted in the past, just like our Lord and Savior, our big brother was persecuted, you know, it's going to be a great persecution, you know, and that's why, you know, the elder was speaking on, I forgot what the name of the video, you know, the elder do so many videos, but he was going into how, you know, they may hang some people, you know, which is in the scriptures, but it's a reason why they got them guillotines. You know, I remember years ago when they was talking about creating them guillotines and them coffins. They also got, I think it's Gillette, the razor company. They got the smart guillotines. Verse 22, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Let's look at the word elect, and then I will end it.
Strong's G 1588. Eklektos.
Ekletos, and it says picked out, chosen by the Most High to obtain salvation through Mashiach. Christians are called chosen or elect of the Most High. The Messiah is called elect as appointed by the Most High to the most exalted office conceivable. Choice, select, the best of its kind or class, excellence, preeminent, applied to certain individual Christians. The elect, you know, the bride, you know, because it's going to be a group that the Lord was given from the beginning of the foundation of the earth that will go believe no matter what. And look how dark the world is. You know, what's that movie, Dark City? It's another one too. You know, I've never watched the movie Metropolis, but I may go watch it. Now, the thing is, I'm not into the old movies, you know what I mean? You know, but at the same time, you know, I am a movie head, but but I can imagine what's in that movie. You know what I mean? It's funny because I just came across some information. When you go into Elon Musk's grandfather and how he was part of a society or a cult of individuals that wanted to make a technocracy, and how they wanted Canada and Greenland to merge. And then you just recently had DJ Trump talking about how he wanted Canada to be part of the U.S. and Greenland. He wanted that to be part of the or America to take over it. It's funny that be like shit be right in your face. So I'm gonna end the lesson there. Again, the times are changing. You know what I'm saying? The Lord gonna shake this shit up even more. And 2026 is gonna be a hell of a year because again, I forgot what brother said that, but he said wait till. Oh, I know who said it. The one brother from New Jersey with the brother that get the elders have love for the brothers, but he was saying wait till DJ Trump in the office for a year. Yeah, because this government is such a huge beast, it got to get to move it, So when they put these decrees in place, that's just like when they stop something. It might not immediately stop, That's just like a prison when they were, like say for instance, you get released. It doesn't just happen, automatically. It might take hours for them to go through the process of doing that. Same with this. Now that he's passing these decrees, and the ball is steadily rolling. Now they can hold back funding at every little whim because they was able to do it with the whole we don't have the funding. And the funniest part is they didn't have the funding, but then end up paying everything. Like this motherfucker, you got people still trusting in the devil. It curse be the man that trusted in man. So if you're so-called black, but we go trust it. It said, blessed be the man that trusted in Yahweh should be outshot. And the hopeful elect is going to do that, trusting Yahweh should be outshot. So if you're a so-called black, Hispanic, Native American, simple Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrews, Yahweh, but should be outshot, or you will be destroyed. With that, we give all praise, all honor, all glory to call Loyam, La Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so. Now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and Aqua thought they're listening and learning. Lord willing, this is edified. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appear like the other nations, but who subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly. Shalom, shalom. Say kwab yasharallah and mawat lababal. Shalom.